Hello, America. Welcome to the... I'm sorry. I'm very frustrated. I don't know how one of my apps was signed out, but now I got to sign back in, and I apologize to everybody who has the Blaze app. We just upgraded the app significantly, but it required you to reset your password, and I know what it's like. I know what it's like. Password? I don't even remember my password. What password? What do I have to do? It's to the point to where it's like, hey, I've got some life-saving blood here because I know you need a transfusion. Just enter your password and your username. And you're like, what? And you eventually give up. You know what? I'll just die. I don't need blood, okay? I don't need it. I don't know how to sign into the blood bank. And you just give up. Sorry, that's not what we planned on talking about, but I think you feel my wrath and hatred for username and passwords.
This is the Glenn Beck Program.
All right, if you're tired of suffering through the agony of a bad shave, tired of the razor burns and the bleeding and the nicks and everything else, that plow of that razor over your skin, there is just an easier way to do it. The truth is you don't need expensive blades. You know how when you shave and you'll go over and you'll shave several times and yet you'll feel and you're like, how is it it's missing that? I can feel the stubble. How is it missing it? And you shave over and over and over again. Then, when you have the perfect shave, it's so smooth the first time. Well, that is the way you're going to feel with Shave Secret. Shave Secret is a proprietary blend of essential oils that you can use it, ladies, for your legs, or men shave their legs too. You know, you don't have to be a swimmer. What? I put on lipstick. Anyway, you can use it for your face, or ladies for your legs, and it takes 3 to 5 drops. That's it. This will last you forever. This is essential oils you work into your beard, and your razor just glides over your face, and you get the smoothest shave. Try it now. Shave Secret. Save you a ton of money and a lot of frustration and a lot of, razor burn. Shave Secret, available regionally at H-E-B and Wegmans grocery stores. I think it's also at Walmart. They're available online at Amazon or shavesecret.com. Use the promo code Beck if you go to shavesecret.com, and you'll save 10% on Shave Secret. It's going to save you a lot. You're going to love the way this feels when you are shaving with Shave Secret. Shavesecret.com. So, since we're all going to be spending a lot of time at home, I think we should spend a few minutes and talk about what you can watch. And you can binge watch now. Mm-hmm. Seattle yesterday suggested that 2.2 million people, the Seattle area, King County, start working from home. We're putting in guidelines now for when we know we're all going to start working from home, because I think this is going to happen in many of our communities, if not all of our big cities. They're going to start asking you to start working from home if you can. And the reason why they're doing this is to save the health personnel, quite honestly. The fewer people that get this right now, the easier it's going to be. We're going to stress out the health system and our doctors and our nurses. And if they start getting sick, if the ambulance drivers, the firefighter, the police all start getting sick, it's a bigger nightmare than it already is. So they're asking us to stay home, at least in the Seattle area, and it will start to come. CDC yesterday said we are on the verge of this thing really exploding in America. So what are you going to do? I mean, binge watch. And I've been watching Harlan Coben. He's got 3 shows now on Netflix called The Five, The Stranger, and I don't remember the other, but they're like 13 episodes in each. They are the best. They're the best mysteries or murder mystery kind of things I've ever seen. I've never seen storylines where, Tanya, we just don't have time to watch series anymore because we have teenagers who never thank us for picking them up and dropping them off all the time. Anyway, the other one is Safe. And there's 3 of them Tanya and I, in the last 3 or 4 weeks, have watched every episode of all 3. They're remarkably good. And each one of them revolve, I think it's, what are the names of them again? It's Safe, The Five, and The Stranger. I started with The Stranger. It's this woman who comes up to this guy at his son's soccer game and says, you didn't have to stay with your wife when she said she was pregnant. And he's like, excuse me, do I know you? And she's like, no, but, she faked her pregnancy. And you can find all the information. Just go into your credit card, file and find this. So it freaks him out so much, and he dismisses it, and it freaks him out so much. His wife is out someplace at a conference, and it's just driving him nuts. So he's like, you know what? I'm just going to put this to bed. He goes in his credit card, and he finds that she charged money to this one place, calls the credit card company and says, hey, what was this? It was a couple years ago. What was this for? Said, we'll have to call you back. We have to do some research. That's a bogus name. The name was for 3 companies. One of them was a company that gives you, the what do you call it? The pregnancy strip test, and it shows positive. They give you a ultrasound picture of the baby with your name on top of it, so it looks like you had an ultrasound. They give you a baby bump belly that you can start to wear, and so he freaks out. Well, as this goes on, she disappears in this is the first episode, and he says, you have to tell me, did you fake the pregnant, or my children even? What is going on? She said, you don't understand. This is about so much more. She disappears unanswered, and so he starts to look for her. Well, this story starts to involve all of their friends, and everybody is having a different problem, kind of based on this stranger telling them different things. You have no idea really what the story really is until the last episode. And you're following it, and it's all logical, but you're like, where is this going? The same thing with The Five, which we just finished last night. The Five is 5 friends that grew up. One of them was kidnapped and killed while they were all out in the woods. The little one, who was younger, they said, go home. And he ran through the woods to go home, and then he was never seen again. Well, now they're all grown up, and in the first episode, one of them is a police officer. They go to this murder scene, and the DNA of that little kid 25 years later is found at the crime scene at this murder scene. And so you're like, wait, I thought he was dead. He apparently is not dead. And now he's killing this woman. What is happening? And it takes you through all of the people and what was happening and how they're all involved. It's incredible. I mean, they're the best stories for murder mysteries I've seen.
Do they fall into my new favorite thing they're doing with television, which is the limited series?
Yeah, they're only one season.
So one season, you watch it, you watch it at the beginning, you watch all of them, and it's over.
Yes.
It ends.
Yes.
And you don't have to worry about them canceling it before the story wraps up.
And that's really frustrating, except when you realize, because I watched that first season, and we started with The Stranger, and watched the first season. I'm like, oh my gosh, I would watch this all the time. It's over and it's wrapped up, and you're like, okay, you can't go back to those people. But I would watch something like this. Well, he's done 3 of them, 3 different stories, and they are fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
That's great. Yeah. Have you been watching McMillions on HBO?
Everybody's telling me to watch
It's
McMillions.
So good. It's so good. It's a story I don't even remember. I remember playing the Monopoly game at McDonald's all the time when it was out. And the story basically is about how no one really won all those years legitimately. It was basically an inside guy stealing the winning tickets and organizing a giant web of contestants that would go into McDonald's and say, I won the $1 million. And they were just keeping all the money. And they go through all of it from beginning to end, how it unravels. And I mean, it is, there's organized crime ties. And
there's like Mormon mafia.
There is a Mormon mafia in there.
It's wild.
Oh, they're really a mafia.
Yeah.
But it's the worst thing I've ever seen a Mormon do. Previously, it was too much milk at dinner. So it was
that gets ugly.
It cleared it pretty
really
easily.
Yeah.
So that one was is really good. There's a new season of Ozark coming out, which is
I haven't watched that.
Super dark, but so good, and Better Call Saul is on as well too, which is fantastic. If you don't, I mean, the same type of profile, a little dark. I mean, you got to understand, coming in here and working with Glenn every day is so much rays of sunshine. You have to go home and watch something dark just to even yourself out.
You're like, oh, man, I'm too happy. I'm too happy.
It's funny. I've heard that, is it Contagion and Outbreak, the two movies about pandemics that have come out the last, 15 or 20 years, both of them have been like trending on Netflix and Amazon Prime and everything. Like, you're in the middle of that movie. Why are you watching it? You don't need to watch it. It's happening to you.
I know. So I'm watching also The Outlander. Have you seen that?
No.
So, boy, you want to appreciate America and you want to appreciate, the time that you live in. This is a story that starts in the 1940s. And this woman is in Scotland with her husband. The war is just over. They're kind of having a second honeymoon. He's kind of this, quasi-historian. And they go, and he's looking for his roots, his English roots in Scotland, because he had English warriors in his blood in Scotland, and so they're there. And long story short, she passes through this. I know this sounds really bad, okay, but she passes through this time portal, okay, and she goes back into the time when the English and the Scottish were, and she's trying to find her way back to present day.
Is this Quantum Leap?
No, it's kind of, that's the only time thing that has happened. I've only watched a few episodes, but it's the only time thing that happens, just getting her there and her trying to find her way back. But it's amazing to watch it because of the history of it, and you realize, wow, we've come a long way.
Yeah.
We've come a long way. She happened to be in the war. She was a nurse where she did a lot of stuff. So they're like in the first scene where she's coming back, one of the guys has a shoulder that's dislocated, and all these guys are going to we're going to put it back in here, bite down on this. And she's like, stop. He'll break his arm. And she does it, and they all look at her like, how did you just do that? And there's questions on whether or not she's a witch or what she is, because she just knows basic modern medicine. It's really kind of an interesting thing.
I had Jonah Goldberg on Stu Does America a couple of days ago, or I guess a week or two ago, and we were talking about his book, Suicide of the West, which is a great book. And he made the point, which was, if you kind of had a wish, right? You're coming into the world and you get to pick where you live and when you live. Any time is possible. Any place is possible. You'd be insane not to pick the United States in 2020.
Oh, yeah, insane.
Which is like incredible when you think about how miserable we are. Like, we complain about everything, but where else would you go? Maybe you'd pick another country in 2020, but like, you're not going back to 1940.
What other country?
Yeah, and I certainly have no other on that. But maybe, I don't know, maybe you love Europe or something, but you want to go there? I don't know. I want to stay here. It's really fascinating.
By the way, you don't need to use up one of your wishes to go live in Germany. Get on a plane.
Yeah, you can actually do that one. That's easy.
Yeah.
But you can't go back in time unless you have a flux capacitor.
Right.
And I don't. But if you could, would you? No. Doc Brown's an idiot for going back to the Old West. It sucked. He should have stayed in 1985. That was the best option he had, with the exception of the future, which probably would have been better too.
If you had a time machine, I would only go to the future.
I mean, maybe you go back to watch a historic event for a half an hour.
Yeah, I stay in the time machine. I don't get out of the time machine. At any point do I leave the time machine under bushes.
You're doing a drive-through?
Yeah.
Like a drive-through time visit.
Oh, yeah, I'm not getting out. Are you getting out? That never works out well. You put the time machine under a big tarp, or you throw some bushes on it. That never works out for you. Don't leave the time machine.
And I've had cars, I actually have one now, that you get nervous when you turn it off. The car does not turn back on most of the time.
You have an MG. That's what you're talking about, isn't it?
I love that car. And most of the time I pull up to a light, I'm like, I might not go. It may just stop
right
here. So if you've got the DeLorean and the time machine, you need to get it to 88 miles an hour. You leave the car running.
It's a DeLorean. Mm-hmm. No, you don't, because it will overheat. I had
That's
one.
Right. That's right.
Okay, you get into that thing and you're going to any other place than your driveway. You're not sure it'll ever get up to 88 miles an hour again. Don't build a time machine in a DeLorean. And if you do build a time machine, never leave it alone. Never get out of it until you're safely back in your time. How many movies do we need to teach us this? All right, if you like saving money, I'm also guessing you dislike it when, in order to save money, you have to go through some complex set of steps, and digital reams of paperwork while holding your tongue the right way. You can kiss that problem goodbye now with Honey. Honey is the free online shopping tool that automatically finds the best promo codes and applies them to your cart. This is what I love, because when I first talked to Honey, I said, free. So what is it you're taking from me? Nothing. They make their money through the companies that you're buying from. So they find a coupon, they find it on sale, they get a piece of the sale from the company gets the sale, and you get the discount. Everybody wins in this. All you have to do is download Honey to your computer, then shop your favorite websites like normal. Then when you go to checkout, you click the Apply Coupons button that pops up. In a few seconds, Honey scans all of the databases that have working coupons on the web, and you'll watch your price drop. Now, some people are like, my price didn't drop. Well, because not everything you buy has a coupon. But if it does have a coupon, if it has a promo code, Honey's going to find it and apply it. I've used it myself. You will save a buttload of money. It works nearly on every online store: Walmart, Target, Home Depot, Macy's, Etsy, all of them. It has saved customers over $2 billion, and that's why it has 100,000 five-star reviews on the Google Chrome store. So don't pass up.
151,000. I was just there.
Really?
I'm in the middle, because I've used Honey before. It's awesome, and I for some reason don't have it on here. I'm just adding the extension at this moment.
Yeah.
But 151,000 reviews now.
Wow. That would be over 100,000, wouldn't it now, Stu?
Yeah, well, way over 100,000. It's like 100,000. He's like, he got 100,007. He's got 100,009.
Don't pass up the free money. Get Honey today. Get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/Beck. Joinhoney.com/Beck. Do it now. 10 seconds, station ID. You ever watch can you watch subtitled shows?
Yeah.
Did you see, what was that movie that just won the Oscar? So good.
Parasite?
Yeah, Parasite.
Did you see not see Parasite.
You need to see Parasite. Really, 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 really good.
Really?
Yeah.
This had no subtitles, but I did see The Invisible Man this past weekend. It was really good. It's a Blumhouse movie. Yeah, it was really good. It was really good. Yeah, they did a good job.
Take your family, or is it?
Oh no. Well, no, I don't know. I guess you could.
Did you see?
If you don't like your family.
Did you see?
No, it was a little. It's certainly much older than my kids.
Did you see the cameo with Kevin Bacon? Small little part, Kevin Bacon. He played the Invisible Man. You didn't.
Yeah, but I remember that from back in the day.
Did you see the cameo?
No,
You've got to go back and watch it.
Oh, it's in theaters. I'm not going to go buy another ticket to watch. I can't. Kevin
If
Bacon.
You haven't gone, go look, and the cameo. It's like an Easter egg. When you find the cameo of Kevin Bacon, it makes it a lot cooler. I haven't seen the movie, but...
Well, how do you know it's a lot cooler then? What if it ruins it for me? What if I'm like, I think I'm in the real world, and all of a sudden Kevin Bacon ruined it?
Hate you. Don't you like little Easter eggs and things?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, okay. So then it makes it better, doesn't it? Thank you.
Except Kevin Bacon related Easter eggs.
Gosh. What's better than eggs and bacon? Oh, I got those all day long. Yeah, I'm a dad. Anyway, have you seen Charit on Netflix?
I have not seen Charit.
Okay.
There's too many shows on Netflix.
No, there's not.
I could cycle through for 6 months and probably not even come across Charit. What is it?
Charité is the name of the hospital in Germany that is the one that was the progressive hospital, and there's 2 seasons of it. The first season in America is actually about World War II because they know Americans are fascinated by Nazis, I think. But the first episode that you should watch them in reverse. It starts in the 1880s, and it's during the progressive era when they're trying to cure tuberculosis and everything else. And it takes place in this hospital. And it is the turning point of medicine. And they're just starting to say, hey, maybe we should wash our hands and these invisible germs and everything else. And so the first season is in the 1880s, and it shows, and it's all based in reality and true stories of what they did back then to discover the cures for tuberculosis and smallpox and everything else. It's terrifying when you see what medicine was like back then, and you see the beginnings of progressivism and collectivism in that hospital. Then the next season is World War II with the experiments in this hospital. Oh my gosh, it is so eye-opening and a total different look at the progressive era and National Socialism. Charité on Netflix.
You're listening to Glenn Beck.
American Financing, NMLS 182334, www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org.
We are seeing now the lowest mortgage rates in modern economic history. Let me say that again. We're seeing some of the lowest interest rates in modern economic history right now. Now, that can mean a lot of things. If you are going to buy a home, you can buy a much bigger home, maybe the home of your dreams. Please don't over leverage yourself. But you can buy a bigger home and the one that you really want for the same amount of money that you would have been paying for your mortgage if you bought a lesser home just a few years ago, because mortgage rates are so low. If you have a credit card, now is the time to consolidate that debt and get out from underneath that. Some of these credit cards have 21% interest rates. You change that to a 3% interest rate, you are going to save mountains of money. American Financing will take care of you in a 10-minute phone call and tell you exactly how they can help you. Please call them now, AmericanFinancing.net at 800-906-2440, AmericanFinancing.net.
Check out Friday's big story on the coronavirus tonight at Blaze TV. Subscribers only, blazetv.com. The promo code is GB20.
This is the Glenn Beck program. Hello, America. It is Friday. Bill O'Reilly has the week off, so he's not going to be joining us today. But normally he's here with us this hour. Bernie Sanders says he's going to drop out if Joe Biden has more delegates by the convention, even if he doesn't have the majority. He said he doesn't want superdelegates deciding. You find that weird?
A little bit. It's one of those things, I think, when that happens, there's a good chance he forgets he said that. But right now, it's the right thing to say.
Right.
Because he just was on record when he thought he was leading, saying a plurality should get the nomination.
It looks like Bernie Sanders is getting his head handed to him in Florida. Mm-hmm. Joe Biden is, 65%?
61 to 12.
To 12.
And that includes Michael Bloomberg still in the poll. And Bloomberg was actually in second with 14%. So 61-14 to 12.
They think that maybe because of the Cuban nationals that moved out of Cuba, got out of Cuba and Castro, that has played such a huge role in Florida that word kind of spread because of the Cuban community going, no, Castro's not cool.
Yeah.
That it really tipped things against Sanders.
It's so interesting how the media works, because if Bernie Sanders were the nominee and would have said that thing about Cuba, they would have been like, look, Barack Obama did the same thing. Obama, he visited there, but they want him out.
Yep.
And so they treat it that way until he's the nominee. If he were the nominee, they treated it a totally different way.
What's crazy is this. We all know that as conservatives, we all know this, but liberals generally don't notice it because it doesn't happen to them, generally speaking.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And when you're living under that kind of stuff all the time, you notice it. And it's gotten to a point to where it's so bad, you dismiss it. That's why I really don't think that any of this coronavirus stuff is going to touch Donald Trump. I don't think it's going to hurt Donald Trump at all, because I think people know the media. And they know this is just, they will say anything about Donald Trump to kill him.
They will say anything. Did you see this thing with him? Donald Trump said he had a hunch, that the coronavirus mortality rate wasn't going to wind up at 3.4%. You believe this irresponsible guy out there saying he's got hunches on diseases?
Yeah,
what about some experts?
Yeah.
Get some experts around you. Maybe talk to them about it. Instead of just guessing, he's just taking blatant guesses. Now, this is the actual clip. It was Trump on with Hannity on Fox News Channel.
Well, I think the 3.4% is really a false number. Now, this is just my hunch, but based on a lot of conversations with a lot of people that do this, because a lot of people will have this, and it's very mild. They'll get better very rapidly. They don't even see a doctor. They don't even call a doctor. You never hear about those people.
So this is what the media came up with off of that clip. Vox called it astoundingly irresponsible. Your favorite, Glenn, Brian Stelter over at CNN. Please don't walk out in the middle of this quote, but he said...
I hate that guy. I mean, he is almost Woodrow Wilson to me. He really is.
You never walked out of an interview with Woodrow Wilson.
No, I didn't.
Brian said, I hesitate to even print the United States president's words here because they're so at odds with what health experts are saying.
That is Brian. That's why he's Woodrow Wilson. He is such a propaganda, disinformation, misinformation machine. He doesn't have any...
I mean, how bad does something have to be that you hesitate to even type it? Like, I don't know what the N word, right? Like, we don't type the N word, right? We would write the N word, or we'd say the N word instead of saying the actual word. We have
actually put books together where we've had to quote somebody, David Duke, using the N word, and we'll look at each other and go, it is an exact quote, but I don't think we should put that in as, other than the N word, or let's use the N and the R and then just asterisks in between, you know. He's comparing it to that.
That's how bad that quote
was.
MSNBC said the sitting president of the United States told a national television audience not to believe the research of the World Health Organization's experts. Is that what you got out of that? Well, Philip Bump from the Washington Post said that Trump, quote, twice admits that he's simply making up the percentage he's talking about, calling it a hunch and saying that it is his personal assessment. Now, he said, most of that is not in quotes. The word hunch is in quotes, and the word personal is in quotes. Because why? Because right after he says it's a hunch, he says it's based on a lot of conversations with a lot of people who do this. In other words, he's getting briefed from experts, and he's trying to communicate that to the American people, and it's not as bad.
I have to tell you, I read the experts every day.
Mm-hmm.
We do a coronavirus update every day. That is exactly what all of the experts are saying.
Right. And
all of them.
Part of this is, I think, the way that the way he speaks. Like Donald Trump kind of says stuff, and it doesn't sound... It doesn't sound all that
Here,
doctory.
let me give you an example. Play that clip again that you just played. Listen to this.
Well, I think the 3.4% is really a false number. Now, this is just my hunch.
Stop. I think that number is just a false number. People, if you're on the left, they will hear, fake news. Yeah. He's saying this is fake news. They're lying. Okay, that's not what he's saying, but that's what they're hearing. Next, play it again.
Just my hunch. But based on a lot of conversations with a lot of people that...
It's just my hunch. Based on a lot of conversations. That's Donald Trump. You hear, if you don't like Donald Trump, you hear, I got all the best people around me. I get all the best advice. I get all the... And at times, he doesn't. At times, he doesn't.
Michael Cohen was not the best lawyer around.
Right. And he just uses hyperbole all the time.
Yeah.
So what they've done is they've taken their brain and just put it into neutral. They're just listening and they're like, oh, that's him going off again, talking to the best people. No, in this particular case, he is talking to the best people. In this particular case, he does know what he's talking about. He is getting advice. It's not hyperbole. He is talking about actual stats. And when he says it's his hunch, that's really what all of the professionals are saying, too.
Yeah, I did a translation of Trump to doctor, because if it's a doctor saying it, you totally would believe it. But Trump is, he talks like the every man. Here's the translation. If one assumes that the number of asymptomatic or minimally symptomatic cases is several times as high as the number of the reported cases, the case fatality rate may be considerably less than 1%. That's exactly what Donald Trump said, except fancy. It's also an exact quote from the New England Journal of Medicine. That's it. This is what...
and I got news for you.
I hesitate to type these words. It's like legitimately a paraphrase of the New England Journal of Medicine. There was also a study from I know you subscribe to this, but so other people that don't know.
I'm a doctor.
The MRC Center for Global Infectious Disease Analysis at Imperial College London.
Right.
They said, quote, their study said estimates of the overall case fatality ratio of all infections is approximately 1%. You go on and say South Korea, who's done a good job handling this so far, and they have a very advanced health system, blah, 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 blah. So far, they're reporting a death mortality rate of 0.6%. The princess... the Diamond Princess, or the floating petri dish of the sea.
Yes.
It was with this, remember the ship that was docked off the sea. They had 707 people who got COVID-19. Okay. But with this one, we know is isolated, right? We know everyone on there. We know what happened there. 707 people, 6 people died. So the mortality rate there was 0.8%. Now, of course, when you're talking about a cruise ship audience, you're not talking the spectrum of all people.
Now, you're talking generally an
older audience with likely a higher death rate than would normally be done. And remember, a lot of people mention this 0.1% mortality rate from the flu, which is true. However, it's true in an environment where 50% of the population vaccinates against it, and we have 4 approved treatments for the flu. We have no treatments for this.
And a lot of people get the flu and just don't do anything about it.
Yep.
It's the flu.
Yeah. So the bottom line with that is, over time, we're going to have the test. A year or two, we'll have the vaccine. It really is a now thing. If we can get through the next year, we're going to do a lot better.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing you have to remember. The media is going to whip up frenzy that this is worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Because we're now going to start testing everybody, and not even everybody, but we're going to be doing, 1 million tests probably in the next, I don't even know, 4 weeks.
Yeah, we're getting 1 million tests are supposed to be done by next week.
Okay,
ready
so
to go.
1 million tests. We had 440 people that had been tested total 2 weeks ago. So now we're going to start testing everybody in the general population that comes in. And not everybody's even going to get a test. You come in, they really think you have it, you'll get a test. So you're going to start seeing these numbers increase. Well, that's a good thing, because as the numbers increase, because we're testing people, we're now verifying that, yep, you have it, you have it, you have it. Those numbers are going to explode. But it will bring the overall death rate down. Exactly what the president is talking about.
It'll feel really scary, but it actually will be a good thing.
It'll be a good thing.
Because we'll be discovering these cases as we go.
And nobody in the press is going to do this for 2 reasons. One, they need fear to get you to watch. Okay? Scandal doesn't work anymore. Anti-Trump stuff doesn't work anymore. Everybody's tired of the press. So they need something to scare you with. Look, there are reasons to be worried about the coronavirus. There are real problems, most of them economic, and all of us could lose somebody that we love in our circle of friends with this, just like we lose people that we love with the flu. It just is going to double that number of the flu eventually. So if we lose 65,000 Americans every year with the flu, we're going to lose 130 Americans, 130,000 Americans eventually between the flu and this. That's probably where this is going to end up. That's a lot of people, and we're going to be affected by that. The real thing that they're not covering, And they're not covering because they need to make this about Donald Trump. So they're not covering what is going to happen with our economy and how do we brace for that. If you're listening to anyone who's just telling you the problems and not telling you how to brace for impact, they are of no good. They are of no good. They are part of the problem. And Brian Stelter, you are a worthless worm.
I don't know.
Worthless worm.
By the way, StuDoesAmerica.com has all the links. We have all the background information, the documents, and all of that on the way the media is lying about this. You can subscribe at YouTube for free. And if you're on your podcast app, click on over and subscribe.
I want to talk to you about the Giza Dream Sheets. The Giza Dream Sheets, amazing Egyptian cotton. Now, this is the best Egyptian cotton because did you know this? Egyptian cotton is no longer really Egyptian. Here in America, they made some kind of deal where they could call it Egyptian cotton, where it's a blend of different cottons and Egyptian in those. And they are so great. And right now, the Giza Dream Sheets are buy one, get one free. That's an amazing deal, especially for Giza cotton. Giza is the best in the world. It's durable, but it's also really soft. And every time you wash it, every time you sleep on it, it gets softer. With Giza Dream Sheets, you're going to feel the luxury and the comfort literally from head to toe. And you're looking at buying one set and getting a second one free. Are you kidding me? The money you're saving by shopping with MyPillow. These are the new Mike Lindell MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the new radio listener specials, buy one pair of Giza Dream Sheets, and get the second one free. Also, deep discounts on all other MyPillow products. Enter the promo code Beck. Call 800-966-3117. 800-966-3117. Get these great radio specials right now. Giza Dream Sheets from MyPillow.com, promo code Beck.
This is the Glenn Beck Program.
Welcome to the program. We have some new information about from 538 about what is shaping up. Listen to these stats.
Yeah, so 538.com, they do these election predictions, and they turn off their model on a big election day, like Super Tuesday. Mm-hmm. In the morning, they turn it off, and then they don't turn it back on until after the election's over.
Settle down.
So they're not trying to implement things on an ongoing basis. They're trying to make a projection beforehand. Anyway, their current projection, before this, it was, I think, a 60% chance there was going to be a contested convention.
Correct.
And then behind that was, I think Biden and Sanders, I think Biden had pulled ahead of Sanders slightly, but it was still pretty close for the secondary possibilities. Their new update just came out. Joe Biden has an 88% chance to get...
Hang on just a second. We're talking about Joe Biden. I have a new Joe Biden theme. Can we... Here's the new Joe Biden theme.
He's trying to make his way to the podium here, and that's not looking great.
The new Joe Biden theme for the program. And
this fits Joe. Fits Joe well. His speaking patterns.
I'm working with a composer now for some new themes and stuff, and I said I need you to do "Happy Days Are Here Again" or something like that, but I want you to do it and can you make it sound like it's done by somebody who just can't remember how it goes? And he sent this back to me. I'm like, that's Joe Biden's theme. That's absolutely Joe Biden's theme. So anyway, Joe Biden, his numbers now, he's back on top at 538 in a stunning way.
88% chance now to win a majority of delegates. That leaves a contested convention at 10% and Bernie Sanders at 2%. That's how bad. I mean, we said this when we were on the air. Before we went on the air, Virginia came across, and Glenn and I were the only ones standing in the studio at the time. And I said, Glenn, look at this. Like, they just called Virginia at the close of the polls. That is not supposed to happen. The day was so good for Biden. He's now way out ahead. When it comes to a plurality of delegates, 94% chance for Biden, 6% chance for Sanders, and Tulsi Gabbard's in third place.
Well, the Marine Band better brush up because Hail to the what's this? Hail to the something. But we got to play that coming up soon, apparently, for Joe Biden. All right, back in a minute.
You're listening to Glenn Beck.